What did you think of Bill? What's your takeaway?
My takeaway is that Bill and Tom were perfect for each other. That basically Bill Belichick wanted to create a culture where nobody was above the team. And in order to do that, he had to have buy-in from basically the star of the team. Now, Tom wasn't always the star. Bill's defense is definitely, according to everybody, including Tom, carried that team for the first, couple Super Bowls. But as Tom became a global celebrity and a 4, 5, 6 time winning Super Bowl quarterback, you know the fact that you would be a rookie and you get your signing bonus and you think you're hot stuff and you get into that locker room and then your first low light session, Bill Belichick is saying to Tom Brady, I can get the quarterback from down the street to throw a ball better than this. And Tom Brady took it and it set the tone. And then on the other side, I think Bill was perfect for Tom because um, Tom is one of the most driven human beings on the face of the planet, but Bill always kept the carrot just out of reach. And I think they were the perfect combination for each other. And there's this moment at the end of the series where Tom Brady says, it's perfect. It doesn't need to be anything more than that. And he's talking about their journey. And when I think about that, I don't want to put words in Tom's mouth, but to me, what he's sort of saying is, yes, there are incredible highs. There are also incredible lows, and we detail why Tom left, but it was perfect. And that's sort of how I interpret what he's trying to say.
I mean, Matthew, you're setting it up perfectly because when I dropped off yesterday, I thought to myself, and this is after, I guess this was like, I don't even know what number it was, the last one. But I thought to myself, we make jokes here in the studio about how Mac Jones needs a hug and he wasn't going to get it from Bill Belichick. But at one point, Bob Kraft says he didn't treat Tommy well, referring to Bill Belichick. And you wondered as you're watching the doc, if you're watching the split occur right before your eyes without having realized it in real time.
Yeah, I think, look, that's part of what makes the story complicated, right? On one hand, you can watch this and you can say, man, what if Bill had what if Bill just put his arm around Tom and said, you're the greatest of all time. I love you, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, I also think if I'm in Bill Belichick's shoes, like, why would I do that? Why would I change this thing that worked really, really well? And what if he had changed it too early and they hadn't won the sixth Super Bowl because of that? So yes, according to the people that were there, that was one of the reasons this thing fell apart. But I also think, why change something that worked so well? And everything eventually has to end. And as interesting and fascinating as the end is, and we really go into detail about that in episodes 9 and 10, I think it's equally fascinating, if not more so, that this thing lasted for as long as it did.
I mean, Matthew, I was logging it like a producer. I kept making notes like Matthew Slater. I felt like we lost the game even when we won, referring, of course, to how Belichick would break down a win.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Wes Welker saying, I told Tom he was like an abused dog.
I'll never, sitting across from Wes Welker when he said that, my jaw was on the floor. I mean, it's a complicated story. But the thing is, when Matthew Slater says that thing, it's shocking, but he also follows it up by saying, but that's a credit to Bill. Nobody was above the team. And what he's trying to point out here is, yeah, it was like that, but it's part of the reason it worked so well.
There was a Danny Amendola who said, we were something about Bill, but we played for Tom.
We worked for Bill, but we played for Tom.
Yeah,
but
that's it. That's great.
But that's the thing is they were perfect for each other.
Right.
Right. I mean, and look, let's not pretend that Tom wasn't just as sort of maniacal and driven as Bill is, and Robert Gronkowski has talked at length about how for the first, however long, Tom was hard on him until he finally started running the routes the right way and doing all the things that Tom looked for. But I think that, what you do see is you see in that moment, right when they're about to go play the Falcons and go down 28-3 and everything, you see Tom hug Julian Edelman and say, I love you, man. And I think that's, again, another reason why they were just perfect for each other. There's a reason for all the success, and it's not necessarily, it's not always the sexiest thing, but it was all the behind the scenes work. It was just, they were just driven unlike anybody I'd seen, and they made everybody else get in line and sort of do things the way that needed to be done in order to win. Because I'll never forget, I was sitting across from Ernie Adams, who's the director of football research, and anybody who's a Patriot fan out there knows that Ernie is sort of this mysterious figure that nobody ever really got to talk to, and I was really lucky to. And I'm sitting across from him in our first interview that we do, and he says, everybody says they want to go to the Super Bowl, but not everybody is willing to do what it takes to get there. And when he said that, it was like, oh my gosh, like that's exactly what we're going to be trying to answer. What does it take to get there? And I think all of the things that we've been talking about today are the answer to that question. It might not always be pretty, but there is a reason why they got there over and over and over again.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.